Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most beneficent and merciful.
This is Divisional Public School and Inter College Lahore. Today we are gonna start Lecture 5 of Grade 5 Science Series lectures. This is from Unit 9 Electricity. Here Miss Marosh with you. Before we step next, let's recall some important points from Lecture 4. In Lecture 4, we have seen electricity is a form of energy. Atoms are the fundamental units of matter. Flow of electrons in a conductor is called electric current. Materials from which electricity passes are called conductors. In lecture 4, we also learn conductors are the materials in which electrons can move freely to their neighboring atoms. Oppositely charged particles attract each other. Similar charges repel each other. Electricity flows through a material in the form of current. Atom consists of subatomic particles that are electrons, protons, and neutrons. There are weak electric forces between electrons and protons, but strong nuclear forces are there between neutrons and protons. Now, let's start today's lecture. Today's lecture is all about types of electricity. There are two types of electricity. One is static electricity and other one is current. Static means non-moving charges, but current means moving charges. Now, we all know that electric current is the flow of electrons through the conductors. In conductors, the electrons in the outermost shell are not tightly held and they are free to move. When these electrons leave their valence shell and go to their neighboring atoms, we call that current is flowing. But in insulators, these valence electrons are tightly held and are not free to move. That's why electricity or electric current can't pass through the insulators. In today's lecture, we will see what is static electricity. Static means something that doesn't move. Static electricity is the buildup of charge on the surface of an object. This electricity is called static because the charges remain in one area rather than moving or flowing to another area. Static electricity results in sparks, shocks, and clinging of objects. Hey Sparkle, you told us static electricity is the buildup of charge over the surface of objects. But why this static charge built up? Well, there are two types of electrical charges, the positive electrical charge and negative electrical charge. Initially, the objects have equal number of positive and negative charges and we call they are electrically neutral. When the imbalance of positive and negative charges occur, it is called static electricity. To understand how the charge imbalance occurs, let's take the example of plastic comb attracting the pieces of paper. Take a plastic comb and bring it near the small pieces of paper. Observe it. Does it attract the papers? No, there will not be any force of attraction between comb and paper. This is because the number of positive and negative electrical charges are equal and comb is initially electrically neutral. Now, rub the comb against your dry hair. By rubbing, some of the electrons will move from here to the surface of comb. As a result, the charge imbalance occur and comb become electrically charged. The charge built up on the surface of comb is called static electricity. Once electrically charged, it got an ability to exert a force on the pieces of paper and attract them. Hey Sparkle, you mean static electricity is the build-up of charges on insulating materials? Yes, this is because insulating materials don't allow flow of charges and let it build up in one area. Well, what do you think? A metallic comb will attract the pieces of paper in the same way or not? Yes, it will attract papers. Oh, Ellie, your answer is wrong. Metallic comb will not attract the papers. This is because metallic comb is a conductor. The charges flow through the conductors and are not built up in one area. Because no charge built up is there, so the comb will not attract the papers in this case. Lightning during thunderstorm is the sudden electrostatic discharge, and it's a very good example of static electricity in nature. Hey Sparkle, please tell me, how does lightning happen? Well, lightning happens in three ways. Within clouds, from one cloud to another cloud, and from cloud to ground. When lightning is in the same cloud, then there is a discharge of charges from negative base to positive top of the same cloud. When lightning is between two clouds, then there is a discharge of charges between positive region of one cloud and negative region of another cloud. When there is lightning between ground and cloud, then there is a discharge of negative charges from the cloud towards the positive charge built up on the ground. Hey Sparkle, I have a question here. How this charge built up in the clouds? Well, in the clouds, ice particles and water droplets are there. When the clouds fill with these ice particles and water drops rub against each other, they become electrically charged. This charge is due to the transfer of electrons between two clouds. When the water droplets within clouds rub against each other, they become electrically charged. During thunderstorm, their charge is separate. Usually, the upper cloud become positively charged and lower cloud become negatively charged. When a discharge occur between positive region of one cloud and negative region of another, lightning happens. The lightning on the earth during thunderstorm is due to the discharge of charges from heavily charged clouds towards the ground. Hey Sparkle, from where the spark comes during lightning? Well, when electrons move very fast, air between clouds gets so hot that it glows like a spark. When the spark is huge, it is called lightning. Now, let's talk about thundering clouds. Clouds thunder by a buildup of static electricity. Do you know? Lightning is around 27,000 to 30,000 degrees Celsius. That is 6 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Hey Sparkle, what causes sound of thunder? I am so scared of it. Well, the reason of thunder is lightning. Lightning makes side air extremely hot, and this hot air expands. As the air cools, it contracts again. This rapid contraction and expansion of air creates a loud crack, that is thunder.
Now I wonder how this charge transfer occur in the presence of insulating air between clouds and ground.
Yes, air is the insulating layer between clouds and earth. When the charge stored in the clouds and ground is tremendously increased, it overcomes the insulating barrier from the air. As a result, the charge is transferred between clouds and ground. With this, everyone, Let's wind up today's lecture. Today we learned that there are two types of electricity: static electricity and current. Current is the flow of electrons. Static electricity is the buildup of charge on the surface of an object. There are two types of electrical charges: positive and negative. Charge built up on objects when imbalance of charges occur. Static electricity built up the charges on insulating materials. Then we see lightning is the sudden electrostatic discharge. When the ice particles and water drops rub against each other, clouds become electrically charged. Clouds thunder by a buildup of static electricity. The rapid contraction and expansion of air around clouds create a loud crack, that is thunder. When the charge stored in the lower cloud and ground is tremendously increased, it overcomes the insulating barrier from the air, and charge is transferred between the clouds and ground. Thank you everyone. We will meet again with a new lecture on circuits and fuses